at the time of his death. He will be credited for being a strong and showing strong leadership, but also as an astute administrator. Right now, we want to cross live where initially we saw the convoy approaching South Sea Masjid Noor Mosque for prayers before his burial at the actually Muslim cemetery later on. We have our reporter, actually, George Maringa, who is on the ground, and he will be giving us updates in regards to this final send-off of Senator Yusuf Haji, who passed in today, this morning. All right, we have our reporter George Maringa on the ground. Maringa, kindly update us on the latest in regards to the sending off of the late Senator Yusuf Haji. Well, if you can get me Maringa, our able reporter George Maringa is right there at the ground, and later on he's going to be giving us updates in regards to that final send-off of Senator Yusuf Haji, who's actually passed in today morning at 8 years old, and he served many governments in this country, being a very astute administrator. But moving on swiftly, residents of Ijara constituency in the home turf of the late Garissa Senator Yusuf Haji also spoke of what kind of leader he was, and later on we'll be crossing over there also. But right now we've gotten hold of our reporter George Maringa, who is on the ground to give us the latest in this matter. Over to you, Maringa. Well, a little bit of technical hitches right there, but we'll be giving you the latest in regards to this final journey of Senator Yusuf Haji. But moving on and going all the way to Ijara constituencies, actually before we do that, President Uhuru Kenyatta has allocated 150 million shillings to Kisii County government for the completion of Gusii Stadium. The president also renamed the stadium to Simeon Nyachai Stadium. The president eulogized the late former cabinet minister Simeon Nyachai as a loyal and steadfast leader. Nyachai was laid to rest at his home in Nyausi village, Kisii County. Other leaders present were former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Deputy President William Ruto, as well as former Vice President, Presidents Kalonzo Musyoka and Musalia Mudavadi.
I explained that at the time the relationship between the late Musa Nyandusi's family and the family of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. We are family, and I've explained how I first came to Nyosia in 1954 when I was a small boy, the home of the late Paramount Chief Musa Nyandusi. He was a great friend of Jaramogi, and therefore we are a family. I have had occasion to have long discussions with Simeon, together with our late friend, the late Job Omino. And through those discussions, we shared a lot with Nyachai. Nyachai is somebody who's schooled in the tradition of the British civil service, which basically promotes excellency and correctness in service of the people. He served at a time when there was a transition from the colonial system of administration that we had inherited to ours. And that was the time when some of you may know the Ndegwa Commission report had been published, which has allowed civil servants to be engaged in business, private business.
The Nyachai and my father and our family have a long and rich history. So today, when it's the day that we are resting Mzee, it's important that we reflect on his life. We've had a personal experience with him. He was a man of great character, intelligent man, loyal man, determined man. We will miss him. And he was a loving father. I remember when he used to come home, what struck you was his sternness. I've heard that he was a disciplinarian, that he was, but his intelligence and his quiet intelligence and his loyalty. It's difficult nowadays to find people of that character. But ladies and gentlemen, there is something which I think if we have to learn from Mzee Nyachai, is that to be successful, to reach the pinnacle of your career in personal and business, you do not have to steal.
Indeed, at the end of the day, what we leave behind is the legacy, what people will talk about it. And right there, we have the legacy of Simeon Nyachai. But right now, we want to cross over to Langata Muslim Cemetery, where we have our reporter, George Maringa, on standby. Maringa, give us the latest in regards to this burial and the plans that are ongoing.
Good afternoon, Noah. Indeed, just a correction, we are actually at the Masjid Noor Mosque in South Sea, Nairobi, where, as you can see, the doors that are closed and the two gentlemen standing outside. Inside there is where the other rites, prerequisite rites, are ongoing for the body of the late senator. The convoy just arrived moments ago, as you were able to witness, and they moved the body inside for some rites, and then they will move it again inside the mosque for the prayers that we are told will last 15 to 20 minutes, and then later on they'll proceed to the Langata Muslim Cemetery. But this is the updates and the events of the last journey of a man who has breathed his last today at the Aga Khan University Hospital here in Nairobi after suffering quite a long illness, many have described, because he disappeared from the public eye for just about a year now, and he has been celebrated by both family members, friends, fellow Muslims, and as you can see, they have converged here for the afternoon prayers, or rather for the prayers before the burial happens later on in the afternoon. But basically this is what is happening right here at the mosque. Hundreds have gathered and have prepared themselves for the prayers as is required in accordance with the Islamic traditions and rites, especially for such a day when they are conducting the burial of one of their own, a distinguished senator, an elder who actually has been called or termed or christened Baba by many because he offered counsel when most needed. He was a man who was respected not only in his family but also in his community in Garissa County, and also when he started serving the nation in various capacities as a provincial administrator, provincial commissioner, and rose all the way, and then he left to join political interests, having scaled his way up. And Kenyans, of course, will remember him for chairing the BBI task force, which he has which he was passionate about in matters ensuring that the country moves in the direction that he thought and he felt was necessary, or rather in the right direction. We also understand, rather we were made to understand, that President Uhuru Kenyatta will be attending the burial at 4:30. We haven't received a confirmation yet, but we are waiting to see the events and to also bring up to date to our viewers what is happening right here at the Masjid Nur Mosque. As you can see, the attendance of several Muslims just waiting to move the body to the mosque for the prayers, which are a critical step in the last journey of the senator. Earlier on at home, as you have seen, we've been there. We've pitched camp since morning, and we had several government officials who made their way, starting, of course, with cabinet secretaries. Najib Balala, Transport CS Macharia also came. We also had Monica Juma of the Defense, and we also had Najib Balala of Tourism, and also Ukur Yatani of the Treasury. And he, in fact, stayed since morning up until now. He should be around. And he was representing, of course, the president and the national government in all the preparations just to ensure that everything went on well. Other senators also paid their homage and their last respects to the fallen senator, who served as a minister of defense between the 2008 and 2013. And he was the Garissa senator between 2013 until 2021, that is today. And at some point he also served as acting Minister of Internal Security and Provincial Affairs in 2012, a distinguished career that he had before joining politics as well. But he has also been praised by his family, because we witnessed the other family members who have been able to eulogize him and term him as a man who offered counsel when much needed. We are trying to get closer to an interview, with a family member who we are told is son to the late senator right here. Of course, various people, friends and relatives, of course, are delivering their message of condolence to him. Okay. Right, I've been told one of the sons, that is Abdul, will not be in the capacity to speak to us, but of course but we've seen him being comforted by his friends and also other relatives, that being the ambulance that ferried the remains, the body of the late senator, all the way from the Aga Khan University Hospital all the way to home at 104 Riverside, and then here at the Masjid Nur Mosque in South Sea, and then we'll later also proceed for his final resting place, that is the Langata Muslim Cemetery. Of course, we have right here on this other side of the mosque, we have witnessed the faithful who are already set for the prayers, which we understand should take 15 to 20 minutes in accordance with the Muslim traditions and the Islamic religion, because this being the final journey for the fallen senator, he will be given the respect that he deserves because he was not only an elder as a country, but also in the entire nation as well, having ensured, or rather having steered the, having also offered a guidance and counsel when most needed in places, or rather in instances where many have described him as a man who spoke his mind, who did not shy from giving his counsel and calling it as is, and things that have said that, you know, the family and also friends have said, no wonder he even emerged, or rather he was selected to be chair the BBI task force, which has, you know, been involved in the road to the referendum up to until the process that is yet to conclude in a referendum. But of course he was passionate in what he did, and to just ensure that the country achieved peace and there was harmony in whatever they did. We are still waiting for the body to be moved from that section of the mosque where it is being prepared for the prayers before they move in to the... But probably nitazungumza na baadhi ya wale ambao wako hapa tuweze kupata tu vile ambavyo wanavyomkumbuka. Mzee, tuambie jina lako, umetoka maeneo gani?
Mimi kwa jina ninaitwa Ibrahim Abdikarim. Ninatoka Athi River. Sasa tumefika kwa hii tu mazishi ya mzee yetu kumsindikiza.
Uliwahi kutangamana naye kwa njia yoyote ile?
Mimi hatujatangamana lakini ni mzee yetu ya nyumbani. Lakini kwa kazi, kwa nini hatutangamana.
Unamkumbuka vipi, maana yake ameitumikia taifa la Kenya kwa nafasi tofauti? Unamkumbuka vipi? Kumbukumbu zako ni gani?
Historia yake kidogo mimi niko naye. Alianza hii kazi ya serikali 1963 ikiwa ndio mpaka siku ya leo ambaye aliaga akiwa senator. Kwa hivyo historia yake ni mingi, ilikuwa DC, ilikuwa PC. Kwa hivyo historia yake ilikuwa ni mingi.
Asante sana. Na labda ombi lako kwa Mwenyezi Mungu?
Mwenyezi Mungu amrehemu, aweke mahali pema peponi roho yake.
Shukran mzee. Indeed, activity currently ongoing right here at the mosque as we wait for the final. But I'll also probably just engage some few more. Tuambie jina lako na umetoka eneo gani?
Mimi naitwa Sheikh Ali Abdullah Omar. Natoka Athi River. Yeah.
Na labda ulitangamana na mzee mwenda zake?
Yeah, tumejuana na yeye akiwa PC huko Rift Valley. Nimekuwa nikimtembelea wakati mwingine. Yeah.
Na baadaye labda kumbukumbu zako kando na akiwa PC?
Baadaye alikuja alipitia vyeo vingi katika serikali. Kwa hivyo ni mtu ambaye tulikuwa tunamjua na akisaidia wananchi wa Kenya, pia akisaidia Waislamu, na ndio maana leo tumekuja kumsindikiza. Yeah.
Shukran sana. Labda ombi lako kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa familia, ama ujumbe wako wa rambirambi?
Yeah, tunawapa familia pole kwa msiba kama huu, na tunamwombea marehemu Mwenyezi Mungu amsamehe dhambi zake na amweke pahali pema peponi. Naam.
Shukran sana. I'll speak in more. Yes, indeed. Tuambie jina lako na umetoka wapi?
Naitwa Haji Mohamed toka Isiolo. Na leo tuko na huzuni kubwa sana Kenya kwa jumla, na watu ya Northeastern na familia ya mwenda zake Senator Yusuf Haji, Muhammad Yusuf Haji. Yeye alikuwa kiongozi shupavu kutoka wakati alikuwa PC, akawa waziri, akawa tena senator, na pia akawa chairman ya task force ya BBI. Hiyo yote ni kitu ambao amefanya, na tunaona huzuni ametuacha. Tunamwombea yeye, Mungu amweke katika janna al-Firdaus, ile janna ile iko juu kabisa, na apatie watoto yake na familia yake na marafiki zake na sisi na Wakenya kwa jumla atupatie subra kwa hii huzuni. Naomba kusema hilo tu.
Na mzee, labda tukiendelea tukisubiri kwamba shughuli itoke pale, labda kwa watazamaji wetu unaweza kutueleza hafla inayoendelea pale na ambayo itafuata, utueleza matukio ambayo yatakayofanyika.
Kawaida mtu akufariki, hapa ni mahali pa kuoshea. Hapa ni mahali pa kuoshea na ni mahali ya kuangalia, kutizama. Kama mtu anataka kuangalia, anatizama. Kama ni marafiki, kama ni watu wale wa karibu, familia, watizame, atengeneze, waweke tayari, kisha aletwe hapa mbele, mahali ambao baada ya sala ya kawaida ya saa 10 tutafanya special prayers ama prayer maalum ya maiti, kisha ndio tutapeleka kwa makaburi Langata kumstiri. Hiyo ndio the main thing. Sasa ni kuangalia wale wageni wale wamekuja, wamtizame, wamwombee, kisha walete hapa nje. Baada ya sala za kawaida ya saa 10 tutasimama kwa sala ya maiti, ambao sasa ni kawaida ya Kiislamu. Lazima tusalie maiti, kisha tumpeleke tumstiri kwa makaburi. Hayo tu ndio the main events that will happen now after this one. Yes, tunangojea hiyo maombi.
Asante. Indeed, I have been able to grab the governor for Mombasa, that is Ali Hassan Joho, who has made way right here to the Masjid Noor Mosque in South Sea. Mheshimiwa Governor, yes, thank you so much for your time. First of all, your memories, rather, having interacted with the late senator. How do you remember him?
Well, first of all, I had the privilege of serving with him at the same time in Parliament, and besides that, he was a Mombasa fellow. You know, he worked in the coastal region for a while, and within our midst we grew up with some of his children, and largely the family, because a big number of the family members are still in Mombasa, are still in the coastal region. So he's a man that we take some kind of ownership back home in the coastal region because of the history that he has with us. And he is one of the eminent politicians that has always stood out. First and foremost, God-fearing. Second, always candid and truthful. He says it as it is, without fear, without favor. And I had the privilege of being advised severally by himself, because I think I got to Parliament when he was there. This is the 8th, is it the 8th or the 9th Parliament? And even during devolution, our interactions with the Senate, he would always stand to assist us. Whenever I needed a serious decision that would require support in Senate, I would reach out to him. He will always be responsive. And besides that, we identify him as a father to us. He's a father figure to all of us. We are in the leadership, the Muslims in the leadership, we've always looked up to him as a father figure. So mine is really to pray for him and his family, and largely the people of Garissa County and everybody else. The country has lost, all of us have lost someone that all his entire life worked on giving to the public.
Indeed. Earlier on, we were able to speak to several leaders who spoke that him being the chair of the task force committee, then the BBI, which he articulately spoke about, as in his honor, the country should be united. Your reaction towards the current political rhetoric ongoing?
Not useful. It defeats the purpose of even having a conversation that is meaningful such as this one, because late senator is now going to his grave without being able to say I saw, or I could see results of my work as the Building Bridges initiative. But all of us need to be reminded that this country, at the end of the day, belongs to all of us. I am as Kenyan as you are and as anybody else. We, as politicians, need to remember we can never have another country. We can never have another Kenya. And even those that are fighting to govern or working hard politically to govern, you must govern people. And for you to govern, you need to enjoy peace, tranquility, so that there can be prosperity. So, as it were, I think the situation is very polarized. Some of the incidents that do happen are unnecessary and uncalled for. We should learn to exercise decorum, allow even our opposition, those that are opposing us, space to express their views, sell their vision, sell their manifesto, without interfering in what they do. And that way we'll be able to unite the country. So, in his honor, really, we have to do something.
And as you wind up, Mheshimiwa Governor, what was your last conversation like with the late senator? And did he express confidence, or did he, in matters BBI, will be successful? What was probably, did you get to pick his mind on the matters BBI?
Yes, he had one concern, and I'm going to be candid. He had one concern. Obviously, he had issues with some of the things that had been proposed. And the beauty about it is that he never took to platform, but he was engaging leadership. I knew he was talking to Uhuru, I knew he was talking to Raila on matters that he wasn't comfortable about. I personally met him in Malindi just before he traveled. Engaged on a few pleasant conversations like we always do, me and him at a personal level. But obviously, a constitution is not a holy book. It's not Quran or Bible. It must have issues. Even him, he addressed a bit of issues, and he was engaging the leadership. And that's what it is. We will always have to review to a point where we say we are on the right path.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Governor. Indeed, that has been Ali Hassan Joho, the Governor for County 001, that is Mombasa County, as he also made his way to Masjid Nur Mosque here in South Sea to pay his respects, his last respects to the fallen senator right here in Nairobi. Of course, as you have heard, he has alluded to the senator who was keen to ensure that the country is united, and of course, whichever concerns, as you have heard, he raised them relevantly with the president, and also as well as the former Prime Minister. And I'll also engage more people who are here, more Muslim faithful. If you could kindly face this way. Anza kwa jina lako na umetoka maeneo gani?
Mimi naitwa Abdul Aziz, nimetoka Mount Kenya area. Mimi ni mtu ya Mount Kenya, tumekuja kuomboleza kifo ya mzee. Ndio. Labda
mzee ulikutana naye, ulitangamana naye kwa njia binafsi?
Mzee tumekutana naye mara mingi sana kwa masherehe ya Kiislamu na kila kitu na functions mingi. Ndio. So lazima tukuje tuseme pole.
Na kumbukumbu zako za mzee ni gani?
Nini?
Kumbukumbu unamkumbuka vipi?
Mzee, he was a very nice person. He was down to earth. Alikuwa anasaidia watu wengi, the community yote, na alikuwa kwa siasa miaka mingi sana. Yes. Yeah.
Shukran sana. Indeed, as you have had the memories of people, various people. Start one more gentleman. Anza kwa jina lako, umetoka wapi?
Somalia.
Kiswahili? Unaelewa Kiswahili? Okay, sawa. Unazungumza Kiswahili? Jina lako?
Jina yangu ni Ali Dagaw Anshur. Marahimo Yusuf Haji. Allah mtu yetu maana, mtu ambayo hana kabila, mtu ambaye mko na dini, mtu ambaye mko na everything. Na wanakaa serikali muda mrefu. So tunaomba Mungu upate peponi na upate neema vizuri, upate janna. Tunaomba kwa Mungu tu inshallah. Mungu aingie kwa baraka yake inshallah.
Asante sana. Indeed, we have been able to see several Muslim faithful who have made their way right here at the Masjid Nur Mosque. As you've seen, we've spoken to Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho. We've also witnessed, or rather, we've also seen one of the sons, that is Abdul, who made his way right here. We also have Yusuf Haji, the son of that is the DPP, and also son of the senator. And other leaders continue to make their way in here as we continue to monitor, and of course have several family members and friends as well who have come here to pay their respects and also to attend the afternoon prayers, especially for this ceremony, the burial ceremony of the former senator. So these are events that we're continuing to monitor.